Lawn bowling is more than just a game. There's no talking on the green.
Genuine 1972 prices.
There's nothing this soft. Just stick it right up.
Welcome to Without Bias. Local legends wanted. The Bowls Green is just up the road. Search Bowls clubs near me. Stay engaged with the sport via the Bowls Show. Sundays on 7-2 from 2:30pm.
Welcome to another week of Without Bias. Sam Hargreaves in the chair for Jack Heverin. We do it all for the Bowls Show, which is Sundays on 7-2 from 2:30pm. Don't miss that. And our very good friends at Apia, we're all about possibilities. Joined as always by one of the greats, Barrie Lester. Hello to you.
Hey, Sammy. Thanks for having me on, mate.
It's an absolute pleasure. And we are amidst royalty, it must be said today. We've been given the very important task, officious task of really welcoming in the new president of Bowls Australia. So we won't stand on ceremony at all. This is not a man you want to keep waiting, Barrie Lester. We will get to what's been making news around the world of bowls very, very soon. But this could be maybe the biggest story that has happened this week or recently in the world of bowls. And without any further ado, we should have had some regalic style music to welcome in the new president, but we will just have to give him a warm round of applause. Bob Boorman, who's the Bowls Australia new president, he took over from Darryl Clout in September, and of course he's been a BA board member since October in 2016. Hello to you, El Presidente.
Hello, guys. That's a way over the top introduction, but thank you anyway.
How have your first few months been, Bob? Take us through it.
Well, look, it's been, I don't suppose it's any surprise, it's been a bit busy in the sense that, it's new for me to be president. There's lots of things on the agenda. And, around Australia, the COVID issue has been pretty intense. And we've been making all sorts of plans for events that are on, postponed and so forth. But for me, it's been great to be able to be involved in just so many things over the last few months, and I'm really looking forward to the next 12 months. So it's all good.
And Bob, you made it up to Burleigh Heads, mate. Tell us a bit about your little trip up to the Gold Coast when you could, especially around COVID times.
Oh, well, a friend of mine, the Adelaide Bowling Club is where I play. Not very well, but I play. And my good friend Phil Smythe, who's the manager there, was up on the coast, and I thought it was a good time to come up and throw a few bowls up and down and catch up with some off-season bowls for us. So, to the coast, and I know Barrie, the Burleigh Heads situation has just been amazing. I was looking at the results of the triples on the weekend. I think the boys, the Bester and Company Limited, the Scottish team, seem to have picked up the chocolates. So I thought you might have got those back to the club.
Yeah, they were great to have at the club. We got a pretty good list together, and it was a well-supported event, and it really does lay a great platform for our club moving forward in terms of running big events. And in due course, when everything's as back to normal as possible, we would love to really reach out to the interstate. So thanks for visiting when you did. Thanks for that, Bob.
That was great. Very impressed.
So what are some of the goals that you've set for yourself, Bob, for Bowls Australia and for yourself and the sport while you're president?
Well, I think the first priority might seem odd to everyone, but the first priority for me is to really work hard to bring the Australian family together. It's not as if it's so much apart, but I think we can do more at Bowls Australia to work with our states and territories. They're the ones who are running the game day by day. And we tend to be working on, the Australian team, the Australian Open, the Commonwealth Games and all that. But essentially we're one big family. We play the game differently. But for me, the priority is to really be strong on communicating with other presidents, making sure that we understand what they're looking for from us. So top priority is that. Secondly, I guess I'm really very impressed with the progress that's being made with the New South Wales men and women. They're talking, they're working together, they're looking towards the integration of the two groups, and that would be fantastic for Australian bowls. So, look, there's lots of others. High performance team we've been reviewing and rearranging, having a chat with Glass and Gary. So, these sort of things, communication, there's lots.
And Bob, Bowls Australia really drives, inclusiveness and, I guess all that amalgamation, men and women, everyone giving the game a go. Would it be arguably one of the highest agenda items right now in terms of making sure there's a real collective way of promoting the sport across all states and territories?
Yes, we've been doing a bit of that, Barry, as you know. Some of the marketing, the adverts, not only from Bowls Australia, but also I know Queensland's been doing some work in that as well. So trying to get some coordination with that. We've got people like Croc Media on board. They're doing work with sponsorship and the promotion of the game. Things like you're doing up at Burleigh. I mean, I think trying to be talking more to each other to make sure we're not overlapping and we're really putting sometimes quite limited resources into the right area. So, and I think it's availability as well, Barry. I mean, I think there's a certain sort of aura around, a bit like your intro about what I'm doing, but I just want to be available, I want to be able to listen to what people are looking for. I want people to understand what PA is doing, so it's very exciting for me. I just think there's lots to be done, and we're trying to get on with it. We've got a very good staff. Neil Dalrymple and his team are very good, so I'm pretty optimistic we can get it done.
So, Bob, with that in mind, that sort of being a much more unified sport and a sport that's focused on togetherness, how have you found, and you've got a lot of experience in this area yourself, you've been on the South Australian board, you're now, and you were on the Australian board for a fair while as well. When it comes to the collaboration between the states and the territories, how do you think the sport is from a governance point of view?
Well, we've, you may be aware, we've had a review of the governance, which I've chaired for the last 12, 18 months, I guess. We've done a report which is large and it's really detailed. We've had some great consultants on that. So governance around Australia, the thing is that all the states are different, right? They run a different game. It's not like some other games which are the same in every place. It's always a bit different. So trying to encourage smoother governance, less levels, all of that. So we'll have an ongoing national committee made up of some states and some BA people to keep pushing that forward, keep listening and trying to change it as it goes. So the secret to me, it seems to be that there's a relationship between presidents of states and territories. And I'm really keen to sit by phone in person sometimes with the other presidents to really make sure they know what we're doing, we know what they're doing, and we agree on a good future in communication and marketing the game. So lots to be done, but look, it's all possible. It's all possible. I'm enthusiastic about it, obviously.
And Bob, I know the Bowls Australia, with their strategic planning, Neil and his staff do an amazing job in getting the messaging out there on what the future does look like. I guess it must be great to have someone like Neil, being the CEO of the organisation, and his staff to be able to lay those platforms for yourself being president and other board members to really, follow that and know what the direction is.
Yeah, so I mean, I was going to say much maligned. That's probably a bit unfair, but it's easy for everyone to have a go and have a shot and be negative and so forth. But Neil has been totally professional. That's been my experience. He listens to what people are after. He tries his damnedest to do the best he can for Australia. And he and I have got a fantastic relationship. We talk to each other pretty well every day, maybe several times a day. We've got some really good people there. So if people need to believe that more, and I can help that by communicating more clearly where we're up to. And also, trying to get people to be committed to their ideas. If you've got an idea, tell me. If you've got something you want to add, let me know. Let Neil know. So he's fantastic, good bloke.
So, Bob, with that theme of unity, and unification. New South Wales, they're an interesting case, aren't they? They're the only state that isn't unified in its own area. Is there any progress at the moment between Bowls New South Wales and Women's Bowls New South Wales in order to bring them together and therefore bring all the states and territories together?
Yeah, no, good question. And as I mentioned earlier, that's a really exciting move. The new board of Women's Bowls and the board of the Royal Men's Bowls have been working together now for the last 6 months, very positively. And, look, it's early days, but I'm really optimistic that sometime next year, 2020, we'll see them get their stuff together so that the best men and the best women, in fact, all men and women, can play according to their ability in competitive bowls. They can be part of one association. I think there's a lot of momentum now. So BA, for its part, I mean, we just sit there offering all the support we can. Happy to do whatever we can to keep that moving in the right direction. So very optimistic, and I think we'll see some really good outcomes in the next 12 months for sure.
You're listening to Without Bias on SEN. We do it all for Bowls Australia. Stay engaged with the sport via the Bowls Show, Sundays on 7-2 from 2:30 p.m. And also our very good friends at Apia, dedicated specialist, ready to help. Call 135050. That's 135050. Apia, get set, go. Our special guest this evening is the recently elected president of Bowls Australia. He's been in the job for a couple of months now. Bob Boorman, the new Bowls Australia's president, is our special guest. We've got plenty more to talk to you about, Bob. On the other side of this break, we want to talk about the high-performance pathways, marketing the game, the digital live streaming proposals that are in regards to the Bowls Australia app, and, of course, women in bowls as well. So heaps to get through on the other side of this. This is Without Bias on SEN.
From the wide outdoors to the great indoors, this is Without Bias.
Local legends wanted. Search bowls clubs near me. The Bowl Show, Sundays on 7-2 from 2:30 p.m.
Welcome back to Without Bias on SEN, where we delve into the wonderful world of lawn bowls for the Bowls Show, Sundays on 7-2 from 2:30 p.m. And for Apia, we're all about possibility. Sam Hargreaves filling in for Jack Heverin, joined as always by the great Barrie Lester, and it is our pleasure to continue our chat with the newly elected president of Bowls Australia, Bob Boorman. Bob, we've been speaking about some of the goals that you've got in place now that you are president, and unification has been high on that agenda. But let's turn our attention to things of the nature, and I wanted to speak, and we said that we would have a chat about this before the break, high-performance pathways. There's been some appointments in this area with 3 new pathway coaches recently hired. Just talk us through who these people are and the reasoning behind getting these coaches on the ground across the country.
Okay, well, the idea from the high performance group is to try and have some, in a sense, structure between well-known high performance leaders. That's Steve Glasson and Gary Willis, and to sort of try and get a structure below them of pathway coaches. And so far we've appointed 3, one from South Australia, one from Victoria, and Gary's in place. And then Tasmania are currently advertising for a position, and will gradually include other parts of Australia as well. So these are people who are strong in bowls, strong in coaching, able to identify talent that's not necessarily the talent that is already in the stateside, if you know what I mean. The states have statesides. But these are people who are emerging, who have got real talent and also can embrace the discipline, and Barrie knows all about this, the discipline of being a jackaroo eventually. So, I'm just really pleased that we're gradually getting that structure in place, and probably in a month or so, you could talk to Glass or even or me even, but the idea that we're now gradually getting a way of identifying talent and also getting that talent to embrace the discipline that is needed to become a jackaroo one day. So it's a really good step forward. Gradually, Tassie will be on board. And then, we've also got Queensland on board. So it's a really strong initiative, and I'm really pleased to see it happening.
And Bob, there's so much talent out there, and sometimes, unfortunately, through various events or school programs, or even just it can get lost in clubs. That talent, it must be exciting to have you've got people on the ground such as Matthew, Lindsay, Ian, and like you say, getting Tassie involved out there at club level, and people that have played the game at the highest level. It must be exciting to know that they're the ones that can guide these people in the right direction.
Well, it's exciting for me, and I think, to be honest, Barry, it ought to be exciting for the existing Jackaroos, like guys like you, who can sort of see a way now, a pathway that we can identify. We can get you guys to actually expand your present code to deal with people who are emerging, so that we are identifying people not only who are good bowlers, potentially, or actually and potentially, but also can fit the mould that we're looking for people throwing on the Australian uniform. So it's exciting for everyone, I think.
Yeah, and congratulations to those new high-performance team members, Lindsay Clark in Queensland, Ian Ewing in Victoria, and Matthew Northcote in South Australia. Let's turn our attention to Bowlslink. Bob, the Bowlslink system, it just continues to expand. This is the tailor-made IT system for all levels of the sport, inclusive competition management system, a centralised connected membership database system, new and improved websites and rink booking systems. It's available nationwide. The rink booking system launched in recent months to work within the COVID restrictions and capacities as well. So it continues to expand. How important has it been to continue to get clubs involved with this system and this program?
Well, it's obviously really important. It's important partly because we've made a pretty hefty investment in developing that as a nationwide thing. It's to be frank, it's not universal. It's not being used totally in Queensland. They are still using a slightly different system, but it's gradually filtering into some of the regions and associations in Queensland. But it's fantastic. I still play. I'm not a champion by any means, but I play and I like to come home. I can look up all the results from I happen to be in South Australia, all the results from everyone who I know who's played on a Saturday. I can see all those results by 6 o'clock. So in terms of competitions, all the competitions that are going on in Australia, I can see those results. I can see who played. I can see, everything about it. I can then see this rig booking system. People in clubs that are trying to organise tournaments can use the Bowlslink system. So look, it's still being modified. It's still being grown, but I just think it's a fabulous initiative, and I'm really hoping that all of Australia just welds on to this fantastic system as soon as they can. So, no, look, big investment, fantastic, huge system, just growing all the time. I love it. It's great.
Totally agree, Bob. We, with COVID at our club, people coming back from it, we had to do everything via technology. And this initiative, whether they, really adopt it straight away, it just gets them thinking down that track of, who would have thought that I could go and book a rink to practice or play a club game of bowls, just like you can sort of do that in golf, book a round of golf. So it's really exciting. And with I guess the restricted number of events that's been played this year, and there hasn't been many, it must be really exciting from a broadcast point of view and I guess a publicity perspective for the sport, knowing that there's so many big events next year. You've got 3 BPLs, World Championships, Australian Open. It must be pretty exciting.
Well, it is, and we've been having some chats with the UBC case just to understand what that organisation is doing as well, because next year, as you say, Barry, is hugely intense, particularly for the top group of bowlers. So, look, we need to keep looking at what we're all doing. We need to make sure we're spending our own money, that is the state's money and the government's money, wisely. And we need to know what everyone's doing as well. If Burleigh wants to have a really big tournament, how do we fit that in on the calendar? How do we rank it? How do we encourage it? How do we promote it? So next year is huge. So Barry, we need you to be pretty fit, mate.
Yeah, definitely. I'm working on it.
You're listening to Without Bias on SEN for APIA. We're all about possibilities, and we're speaking to a man who's been in the job of president for about 3 months now, Bob Boorman, local legend, of course, and him getting elected is absolutely a legendary moment of the week. Local legends wanted, search Bowls Club near me. Search Bowls Clubs near me. Local legends wanted. The Bowls Green is just up the road. Search Bowls Clubs near me. Bob, we've just spoken about the importance of being connected and being able to engage through COVID. And when it comes to digital, when it comes to live stream and the possible proposed Bowls app, you've sort of continued that engagement through digital and the social channels, articles, and there's video interviews, flashback videos on the website, etc. You've had Rinkside Live, bringing elite live bowls action to people at home via Facebook, and that's set to return at BPL 12 at Moama. Discussions underway about a potential Bowls app, which is going to be expanding BA's coverage of bowls to users. How important has it been to stay connected digitally to bowlers, especially throughout this year?
Oh, no. I think you said that before, Barry, as well. I mean, the whole Bowlslink system, we're now starting to develop a new app, so you'll be able to get all of the stuff that's currently on a website onto a very interactive app. So hopefully in the next few months that'll be developing. But even look, it's regardless of age, it's just getting used. I know some people struggle with it, but getting used to the idea that on my phone now, on my laptop, I can see the whole world of bowls. And I might be a bit of a tragic, but I love watching live stream. Whenever there's live streams from the Eastern Seaboard, or the Super League from South Australia, if it's up there, you can see fantastic games on your whatever it is, laptop or phone. So that's really important to us. I hope it's really important to all the bowlers or the sport enthusiasts, to understand what's available and to go and watch it. And some of the commentary we get is really becoming more and more professional. I love that, and I think the more we see bowls, the better it'll be.
And Aidan and Dominic at Bowls Australia, Bob, as you know, they're phenomenal. Their job, we've been very sport the last few years to have them work with us in the Jackaroos squad and really promote what we're doing on green. And with them sort of heavily involved and knowing that something like this, to have a centralised hub on all your bowls information on an app, with them involved, I'm pretty sure we're all confident it's going to be a great outcome.
Yeah, they're good blokes, aren't they? They do well. They push me along, I can tell you that. And opportunities like this, I hope everyone is still listening to your great show. But I just want to make sure that their hard work results in people getting it, picking up, listening to your show, watching the show, listening on the radio. Look, bowls is in a great spot because anyone can play it. You can go out onto a green and you can pick up 4 bowls and you can throw them up down on your own. There's not many sports out there that any age, without any gear, except you can borrow some bowls, you can go out and play a game that you get to the top level. So I think bowls for social bowlers is massive. You're probably aware, but there are double the number of social informal bowlers than there are, if you like, pennant bowlers, and that's not bad. That's great. We've got to have a look at pennant bowls, the formal game, and see how we can make that more and more attractive by making it shorter, more exciting, more bowls. There's just so many things we can do. We're good, but we can be great.
Beautifully said, Bob. We're going to finish off quickly. We don't have you for too much longer, but women in bowls, it's a really important part of the plan moving forward. Where do you see at the moment the focus, and we know there has been a real focus on women in bowls this year. Where do you see at the moment where the divide sits between men and women in the playing competition sense? Are we bridging that gap, or what plans have we got in place to make sure that that's continually becoming far more narrow, that gap?
Well, a really good point to finish on. There's been a group of very, very impressive women from all over Australia working away with BA to look at what are the barriers, what is the situation around Australia, because it's a different situation in every state. So that group's been doing some hard work, and they'll continue to do that. Very well supported by the BA board, I can tell you. The thing is, the amalgamation of the two genders, the two associations in New South Wales, will have an impact. But look, it's controversial. But the trouble, in a way, in the past, the history has been that women have tended to play separately on a different day to men, and they've had their own competition in some states. And in some states, they can play, women and men can play in the same competition. So, maybe there's a bit of both. There is in South Australia, where I come from, but I think the main thing is to allow people to play at the highest level or at whatever level they have got the time. And I think, Saturdays in the sun in summer is probably not the best time. Women, more and more women, of course, are working. And so there's going to be big changes, and everyone's got to be up for it. But we are going to keep emphasising any barriers that stand in the way of women being able to play at whatever level they like. We're going to be working on getting down. So really important part of what we're on about, Barry. I'm really, really strongly behind it.
Yeah, me too, Bob. And, being a former Victorian, I played a lot of Saturday pennant bowls with and against women that played in the traditional men's competition, and it was great to see. And it's good to see more and more states and clubs talking about it. And do you think there's a particular sport? I know I'm a big fan of how women's cricket and women's soccer has really taken off the last sort of 5 years. Do you think there's a sport out there where Bowls Australia would align themselves or try and mirror themselves up against in terms of female participation?
Look, I'm not sure. I'm not sure I can give you a really smart answer on that, Barry, but I can say this, that bowls is a game that the best women and the best men will always be competitive. And so it goes down through all the grades and all the areas. I'm not sure you can say that about too many other sports. So I think bowls, men and women, the various now genders, can play the same game competitively. And that's what, I can't imagine, a Karen Murphy or any of the Jackaroo females not being able to play against the very best men at the best competition. And that's what we all want to see happen. And I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's great.
Well, it's been absolutely great and wonderfully said, and I think that will win a lot of support, that sentiment, and we look forward to seeing the progress being made in that area. You've got the Women in Bowls Working Party and the Future Female Leaders Program, which are all designed to do exactly what you've been talking about. Bob, it's been great to spend the last half hour with you. Congratulations again on your appointment. We look forward to a long and successful reign, and from everything we've just heard there, it sounds like Bowls in Australia is in exactly the right hands. Thanks so much for being with us on Without Bias.
Look, thanks for having me, guys. And look, if the show you're doing helps, and any time I can help, just absolutely let me know. But thanks for the opportunity.
Bob Boorman there, newly elected in September as the Bowls Australia president. Hey, that brings us to the end of our time, Barry Lester. We'll catch up with you again next week. And until then, enjoy getting out on the green stuff, and we look forward to catching up with you then.
Yeah, thanks, Sam. Great job, mate. And Jack should be nervous, buddy.
Not at all. He is the main man, of course. The Bowls Show Sundays on 7-2 from 2:30 p.m. Stay engaged with the sport via the Bowls Show Sundays on 7-2 from 2:30 p.m. We do it all on Without Bias for APIA, dedicated specialists ready to help. Call 1-1350-50. That's 1350-50. APIA, get, set, go. And don't forget, local legends, they're wanted. The Bowls Green is just up the road. Search Bowls clubs near me. This has been Without Bias for another week. Thanks for listening. We'll see you again next week.